Hello everyone, welcome to Servicenow Prague. My name is Kamlesh Kumar and today we are going to learn about get method of GlideRecord object. Okay, so what is get method? Get method of GlideRecord object is used to retrieve records from a table in Servicenow. This method is used as a shortcut to the query method in certain cases, which can shorten your code by a couple of lines. So let's try to understand this by an example. Let's say you want to retrieve a record from incident table based on a sysID. Now this is how we are gonna do it by using query method. So we'll glide record to the incident table. We'll use add query. The field name would be sysID and the value, and then we will query it. And then using next method, we can read the attributes of the incident record. Now, if similar thing we are to do with the get method, this is how you are gonna do it. So we'll glide record to the incident table and we'll use get method with single attribute. So this parameter simply means that you are passing the sysID. So get method with one parameter understands that you are passing the sysID of the record and it will allow you to access all the attributes of that record. So basically, if you see here in the left side, we have 5 lines of code, and on the right side, it got shortened with 3 lines of code, right? So this is what get method do. Now get method comes in 2 varieties, the 2 versions. The first version accepts single parameter, and when you use this version of get method, you are to pass the sysID of the record. So whenever get method with single parameter is called, it accepts the sysID of the record. Now there's another version of get method also which accepts 2 parameter, which is the first parameter as a field and second parameter as a value. Now let's try to understand the difference between the query method and the get method. Query method is used when you want to retrieve record based on multiple conditions, whereas get method is used when you want to retrieve either based on the sysID or based on a single condition. You can't use multiple conditions here. For an example, let's say if you want to retrieve record where priority is 1 and is assigned to IT service desk, then you can use query method for this purpose, but you cannot use get method for this purpose. Second difference, add query method can be used to filter records which accepts minimum of 2 parameters and which can be extended up to 3 parameters. So you can use add query where you can either use 2 parameters, the value and the field, or you can extend it up to 3 parameters where you provide the operator value as well. But in get method, you can't use it. Your get method accepts either 1 parameter or the 2 parameters. So there's no scope of operator here. Third difference, you can use in-queried query to handle complex condition along with query method, but you cannot use in-queried query with get method. The final difference, the fourth one, as the most important one. When you use query method, you get an iterator that is not iterated yet, but in get method, you get an iterator that is already iterated once. Let's try to understand this fourth difference with an example. Here, we are trying to get a record from the incident table using query method based on the sysID. So if you look at this code, it is glide recording to the incident table and is filtering the record based on the sysID and is querying it. Now, what does it do? What happens at this gr.query point of line? System returns you a collection of 1 record. So when you get this, you get an iterator which points to the collection itself and not your record. That is why after this line gr.query, if you write gr.number or gr.short description, you cannot get the value. Why? Because your iterator is still not pointing to the record. It is pointing to the collection of the record. So in order to read the record, what you will require to do is you need to iterate over it. Now to iterate, how do we do that? We do it using the next method. So when you write gr.next, what happens is Now your iterator points to the first record of the collection, right? So now it is pointing to the first record, and now you can read the values, the attributes of this record. So now if you write gr.short description, gr.number, you are going to get the value. So this happens in case of query method execution. What about get? Now, when you try to achieve the same thing using the get method, what it does is it gives you the collection of one record as in the query, but here your iterator is already pointing to the record. That means it is already iterated. You don't need to do gr.next. Let's see this in action. Let's flip to Servicenow. Okay, so for the sake of convenience, I have already written this code. So in the first example, let's say I'm GlideRecording to the incident based on the sysID, and I'm using the query method. And after that, I'm printing the total number of records that we are going to get. Of course, we are doing the GlideRecord and sysID, so we are going to get one record. And if we try to print the number, let's see what happens. So we are getting one record, but there is no number here. Why? Because if we go to our diagram again, we can see that when query method is executed, the iterator points to the collection and not the record. Now, in order to have access to the record, what I need to do is do the next so that my iterator points to the first record of the collection. Let's say this. So now, if before utilizing the number, if I write grq.next, now I will be pointing to the first record in the collection, and now I can read the number. Let's check this. Okay, so we are getting the number, right? But when we use it via get method, so let's delete the query method. Now let's come to the get method. Now if I do the same thing using get method, as said, let's move to the diagrammatic representation again. When we use get method, we already get the iterated version of the record, right? The collection. So if we do this, we will already be having access to the record itself. So we don't need to use gr.next here. Let's try this. So here, if you see, I'm using get method and retrieving a record based on the sysID. I'm trying to get row count and trying to print the number. So if I run this, it's same. One record, one number. Okay. Now, the myth buster. Get method can return multiple record and is not limited to returning of single record. So get method basically returns a single record only in case you are trying to get the value based on the sysID, and it is an expected behavior because in system you are gonna get only one record based on the sysID because sysID is unique. But if you try a condition which can give you multiple record in return, in that case, get method is also going to give you multiple records. Let's try to understand this by an example. Let's try to go through a use case where we are going to retrieve records from incident table where state is in progress, that is state is 3. So when you do the query, what system will do is it will give you collection of records and your iterator will be pointed to the collection itself. So no access to record yet. Now, in order to get access to the first record, what you need to do is iterate over it. And how you iterate is using the next method. So if you execute gr.next, what it will do is it will iterate to the first record. So now your iterator move on to the first record. And now you can access all the attributes of this first record. And if you have to read all the records in the collection, you will have to use a while loop. So every time gr.next will execute, your iterator will keep on pointing to another records, right? And as all the record reading ends, your gr.next will also stop executing. Now let's see what happens if we try to do same thing using get method. Now, when you use get method, here also it will return you collection of records. But as said, get method gives you pre-iterated iterator, right? So when you execute this line of code, what system will do? It will give you collection of records, and your iterator will already be pointing to the first record, right? So when you do gr.next here, you will be pointing to the second record. And if you keep on doing it, you will keep on moving to another record, right? Let's see that in action. So let's flip to the service now again, and let's see our second example. So here what I'm doing is I'm glide recording to the incident. I'm trying to retrieve all the incident whose state is work in progress. And let's see what get row count gives to me. So for the time being, let's comment this line and try to evaluate it. So as you can see, it gives me 9. That means it has returned multiple records and not just a single record. All right. Now, if I have to read all records of this collection, how I'm going to do it? I'm going to run a while loop and we'll try to print the number. So let's run this. So you can see I'm getting all the incident. I'm getting access to all the incident record one by one. All right. So same thing, if you want to iterate over all the records, what you need to do is you need to do gr.next and it will start pointing to the other record. Now let's see one more example to understand it well. So I'm using the query method to get all work in progress incident, and below that I'm trying to use get method for the same purpose to get all the incident records whose state is work in progress. And let's see the difference what happens. As you can see that there are 9 records in both the methods that we have retrieved. But if you see, there is a difference. When I used query and I used the iterator, what it did, it started from incident number 17850. But when I used get method, I got from the second record, that is 17, right? 1850 is not here. Why? Because same reason that when you use get, you get the iterated version. That means when I use get method, the collection that I got, it was already pointing to the the first record. But when I used next, I moved on to the second record. That is why I'm getting results from second records onward inside the while loop. But if I use my grg above next method, we are gonna get access to the first record as well. So if I write here gs.print, not gs, sorry, gs.print grg.number, then the result is going to be exactly same as that of query. You see, same result. So to summarize, when you use get method, what it does is it combines the add query, the query, and the next method all together into the get method. So when you do it on the basis of sysid, it get method gets shortened it to the version where it accepts one parameter. And when you do it for other fields, like the field and the value, it converts it to the 2-parameter version of the get method. So this is all about the get method. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel to get the updates for further videos. And if you like the video, please like, share with your friends. Thank you very much. Have a good day.